Hello, everyone. Welcome back once again. This is Harshal Desai. I once again welcome all the audience who are watching us, and we have been joined here by Ms. Sapna Ahuja, Chief Operating Officer at MapMy India. And for the next 20 minutes, we are going to have an exclusive presentation by Ms. Sapna Ahuja. And the subject for the presentation is Atmanirbhar Bharat, Sarvottam Bharat, digitally and geospatially, transforming governance and government of India. So, a very interesting subject, and I would like to, without any further delay, I would like to hand over this virtual dais to Ms. Sapna Ahuja, Chief Operating Officer at MapMy India, and request her to please uh, subject. Thank you. Over to you,
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Harshal. So let me start by thanking ELEX for organizing such an insightful event and for inviting me to be part of it. Really excited if I can add some value to the audience today. My talk today is about digital and geospatial transformation of government and governance in India. Clearly, pandemic has made all of us realize this, recognize the fact that, without digital transformation, it is really, in today's world, it is really not possible for us, for the government to govern, for the citizens to engage and live their day-to-day lives. I mean, we are so much used to using our mobile phones, our mobile apps, for internet, for day-to-day services, day-to-day requirements, and even now a lot to also get the government services, to get, let's say, think of apps like Umang app. There are so many different applications. Even for vaccination today, you have to go to CoWIN portal or Arogya Setu app to book yourself or to register yourself for a vaccination slot. So think government is transforming digitally. So there is no denying to this fact. So I'll just take you through what MapMy India is doing in this space and what we feel should be done, how citizens and the government should engage with each other to make things better, to make lives of every citizen, be it an urban citizen or a rural citizen in India, better and more lively. So I'll just take a minute to share my screen.
Sure, Sapna.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, visible.
Sure. So, like what I was saying, the value and potential of digital transformation and geospatial solutions has become even more evident as we respond to the current situation. The point which we are trying to make is that geospatial and digital transformation, they go hand in hand. I gave example of booking a vaccination center. So unless you know which is unless the application is able to tell you which is the nearby vaccination center, it's really, difficult to get, or I would say it is really not possible to get the best out of the whole use case. So when it comes to geospatial, what are the key core focus areas or the interventions? We look at the first and foremost thing that we look at is what can we do to build public trust? What tools can we provide to public? What tools can we provide to the government to ensure that there is a mutual trust between the citizens, between the public and the government? So what we believe is that evidence-based decision-making in these situations like pandemic, that is, that's something that really can be very helpful for both the stakeholders. Hyperlocal information services for citizens in city. So if the citizens get to know what the government or what the administration is doing for their area in their hyperlocal vicinity, what kind of facilities do they have, and also vice versa, the government is also able to listen to the citizens in terms of the complaints, the grievances, or the feedback that citizens want to give back to the government, and there can be a two-way communication possible that is a big factor, that can be a big factor to build trust. And these, these things can be, these platforms can be developed by having a proper geospatial and digital systems in place. Next is crisis management. That's another area. So crisis management, it also leads to building public trust. Let me put it this way. So having situational awareness with accurate location information. So in case of any disaster, in case of any pandemic, in case of, let's say, local violence activities that might be occurring, if there is a situational awareness which is available. So, for example, if there is any violent activity going on in an area, if the police knows what is really the pattern that's happening, is it happening now for the first time, or is there a pattern to it? That really helps in solving the matter. And these are certain things that one can do very easily on a geospatial tool. Similarly, planning logistics and monitoring. So in pandemic times, logistics became a very, very important topic because there were so many medical supplies which were to be distributed in the rightful manner to different parts of the country. So be it, oxygen, be it supplies of, be it making arrangements for beds, depending on the need in different areas, the quantum of need in different areas. All this was to be planned in recent times, and this might be requirement in coming future as well. So in order to do logistic planning much more effectively, using multiple modes of transport, again, there is a need to have geospatial tools in the back end. And these geospatial tools, they help in optimizing the process, simplifying the processes also. The third focus area is ease of access. Access to information, that's the most important thing. I mean, if you know when you need something, where to go, what to do, how to handle a particular situation, that by itself solves half the problem. So easy access to information is quite critical. I'll take example of vaccination centers because that's one project that we recently did with cowin.gov.in, where MapMyIndia maps are integrated and help people find the nearby vaccination centers to their current location. Likewise, access to public infrastructure, public facilities, for example, which is the nearby RTO office. Medical infrastructure for emergency response like ambulance. So I need ambulance at point A. So where is the nearby ambulance, and can somebody dispatch that ambulance to my location where I really have the need? So these are different aspects. These are three different pillars, I would say, which we are kind of focusing on, and around which we are building our geospatial and digital transformation solutions. So some examples here, I kind of talked about it in the previous slide as well. To build the evidence-based decision making for pandemic management, we released a dashboard, a COVID-19 guide on MapMyIndia portal, where we displayed all the corona vaccination centers. We also showed how it's changing state-wise. We also mapped every containment zone in the country. The supplies related to medical oxygen cylinders, where these suppliers are located, remdesivir distributors, district hotspots. All this information was available in the COVID-19 guide on MapMyIndia, and it's being updated on a regular basis. So some screenshots, this is basically displaying on a state basis which states have more number of active cases. It's a complete dashboard here. You can see how different states have gotten impacted in last 1.5 years. Our containment zones. The containment zones, a much detailed view. So Then another very important feature that we released during this period was safety check. So I can check basis my location whether I am in a containment zone or not. Irrespectively, I can also get to know the nearest treatment center, sample collection center, quarantine center using the safety check feature on the mobile app, MapMyIndia mobile app, and also on the web application. So hyperlocal information is made available not just for corona facilities, but also for basic day-to-day needs. Like I want to find a nearby coffee place, a restaurant, a government office, RTO office, police station. So all this information is available at a hyperlocal level through the geospatial tools. I talked about the grievance management. So if there are platforms where which can allow people to report issues in their area, in their hyperlocal vicinity, and the similar tool can also be made available with the administration to revert back, to basically respond back saying what the government is doing with respect to those issues, if they are, and in this, and this really helps in building the trust between the two stakeholders. So Swachh Bharat related reports, pollution activity related reports, road conditions in my area, the waterlogging issues, bad weather conditions, broken street light or pole, fallen tree, all these can be reported through tools like this. And it can go to the right stakeholder within the administration office, within the municipal corporation office to act on it. The similar kind of tools are used for crisis management. So there were war rooms which were set up to keep track of medical facilities, treatment centers through dashboards, updation status of availability of beds, medicines on dashboards, plan and allocate life savings equipment like oxygen concentrators, etc. that we did. Logistics planning, multimodal connectivity. That's again very important. We understand that majority of the transportation in the country is done today by road. There is a strong feeling that the logistics system, the cost of logistics can be brought down by 4 to 5% if we use the optimal model mix. So basically, if we also use our inland waterways, if we also use our railway lines, and along with the road network which is available. So what we've been able to do is we've been able to build tools to identify optimal combination of modal mix for efficient transportation in the country. And this can again lead to crisis management. Wait time simplification. So when we are traveling or when we are transporting our goods, there are a lot of interventions that needs to be attended. For example, wait times at tolls, at traffic congestion at different intersections, at toll plazas. So these are, using the geo AI technologies, the geographical artificial intelligence tools, one can calculate the estimated wait times at different tolls and different congestion points to help in a better planning, better systems. Similarly, availability of public infrastructure. So, for example, these screenshots, they show a map of Chennai. We did a study sometime recently only, wherein we tried to calculate how far on an average, from every grid, we divided the entire city into multiple grids, and we've calculated for every grid, how far is the nearby transportation available, public transportation available. When I say public transportation, I mean a bus stand or a railway station. So what is the distance to the nearest bus station and a railway station from that particular point? And it gave us very interesting insights. We could really figure out what part of the cities are today do not have a proper public transportation infrastructure, and that helped the city in taking certain decisions to add newer routes in the system. Likewise, medical infrastructure for emergency response. So there was another study done where it was mostly for the accident management system, wherein we wanted to identify on highways what are those stretches which cannot be reached within the 1 hour golden period at the time of accidents. So the idea was to make sure that there is medical infrastructure available at every nook and corner on the highways to attend to any accident location. So that is one way of looking at it, that how can we enhance our medical infrastructure in the country. Second was also to analyze where the accidents happen quite often. So that could be based on the sharp turns or based on wrong designs on the road network. So that can also be easily identified with a detailed, high-resolution road network map. So that leads to clearly, bringing more safety to the citizens of India when they are traveling. So these were some use cases that I talked about, and how, a quick introduction to what MapMyIndia is. We are India's leading geospatial content and deep technology company. We were the first ones to build digital map product for India back in 1995. In 2007, we launched our GPS navigation systems. And today we proudly say that we are building a digital map of the real world. It is India's first 4-dimensional time and space map. And we are on the mission to make the world better through maps, IoT, and location technologies. So collectively and quietly and powerfully, we are empowering 40 crore Indians with our tools. So which is about 30% of the India's population is today using MapMyIndia service through various applications on a day-to-day basis. We had a tie-up with ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, to again bring the best of satellite technology and map technology to the India. So in what are the areas? Broadly, I talked about citizen engagement, public health systems, intelligent transport systems, like I talked about the multimodal logistics, sustainable urbanization, rural development, agri-tech, tourism, and taxation. So these are some of the verticals that we've identified where the geospatial technologies are being used for various use cases. Some organizations who are using our solutions, government organizations who we have tied up with, like. So broadly speaking, what are the key components to put a geospatial transformational solution together? Clearly, a detailed map becomes the key. So that's first component, a detailed map of the country, along with a geospatial software. A navigation solution, which can help you calculate distance from one place to the other, which can help you move from one place to the other. The stack of APIs and SDKs that can enable functionalities like telematics, maps within your web and mobile applications, GIS analytics and AI technologies. All this put together in the form of a digital software, a mobile application and a web application can help resolve most of these requirements. And when we talk about map data content, map data typically is made up of various layers: administrative, address, transportation network, points of interest. And when we talk about the most accurate, most comprehensive, detailed, real-time maps of the country, which change with time, addresses and places of interest. I'll quickly talk about the digital addressing system. We all know that in India, there are few cities, I would say it's primarily the urban areas which have proper organized addresses. Majority of the households in India do not have addresses. That's one situation. And wherever the addresses are there, they may not be organized, they might be inconsistent. So defining an address in a system or searching an address has been a problem since beginning. And MapMyIndia has been resolving this with its platform called eLocation. It is India's first nationwide doorstep level smart digital addressing system. It's a 6-character code for every household, for every door number, which is simple, precise, and very easy to use. So it can help in faster response times for disaster management and relief operations. It is required for improved delivery of citizen services. I can help transform cities into smarter cities by providing better planning for amenities and properties. And the ready-to-use information around transportation network. And there are a lot of technology companies who are using this technology to make the processes more seamless in nature. I think thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sapna Ahuja, Chief Operating Officer at MapMyIndia. And it's really very interesting to understand the journey of MapMyIndia over the years and what are the new innovations right now you are undertaking, and several collaborations already you're working for giants like Apple and IBM and others. So thank you so much. And I request audience, if they have any question, please let us know. We will be happy to connect you with Ms. Ahuja offline and through other mediums also. As we have ran out of the time, so we'll be closing this session formally here, and would like to present a certificate of appreciation to Ms. Sapna Ahuja, Chief Operating Officer at MapMyIndia. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. Thanks, Harshit.
Here at this platform, ma'am, and we look forward to hosting you again at some other occasions. So thank you so much, and we will now get ready for our next session, which is scheduled at 1 o'clock. Thank you. I request all the audience to stay tuned. We'll be coming live shortly with our next panel discussion. Thank you.